The giant panda, a beloved symbol of conservation efforts, is another solitary animal whose existence is largely shaped by its solitary nature. Native to the mountainous regions of China, giant pandas are well known for their distinct black and white coat and their affinity for bamboo, which makes up almost 99% of their diet. Unlike many other bear species, pandas do not hibernate, and their solitary nature is linked to the scarcity and low nutritional value of their food source. Bamboo forests, which are rich in food but poor in nutrients, require pandas to consume vast quantities of bamboo to meet their energy needs, and because of this, they prefer to remain in their own isolated territories. Male and female pandas come together only for mating, and outside of this brief interaction, they lead solitary lives. Females have a very narrow mating window, typically only being receptive for a few days each year. After mating, the female gives birth and raises her cub alone, which is another factor contributing to her solitary lifestyle. Pandas are generally not territorial in the way that tigers or leopards are, but they do use scent marking and vocalizations to communicate with others of their species. Their solitary behavior is crucial for survival in their habitat, where space and food are limited. The conservation of their solitary way of life is integral to ensuring the species' survival in the wild. Crocodiles are large, powerful reptiles that can be found in tropical regions around the world, particularly in Africa, Asia, Australia, and the Americas. These apex predators are solitary animals for most of their lives, and their solitary behavior is linked to their hunting and territorial nature. Crocodiles are territorial creatures, with males typically claiming and defending large territories in rivers, lakes, and marshes. They use their powerful jaws, stealth, and ambush tactics to capture prey, often waiting for hours in still water for an unsuspecting animal to approach. While some crocodile species may tolerate the presence of others during the mating season or when basking in the sun, they generally prefer to live and hunt alone. They do not exhibit social behaviors and usually only interact with other crocodiles for reproduction or territorial disputes. Crocodiles are particularly solitary during the dry season when water levels drop, and competition for food becomes fiercer. Their solitary lifestyle is well suited to their environment, where they can maintain their territories and focus on hunting without the interference of other predators. Despite their solitary nature, crocodiles are capable of communicating with each other through vocalizations, such as bellows and growls, but these interactions are mostly limited to mating or territorial encounters. Leopards, another solitary big cat, are known for their agility, stealth, and beauty. Native to sub-Saharan Africa and parts of Asia, leopards are often mistaken for being similar to jaguars, but they are typically smaller and more slender. They possess a coat of golden fur with distinctive black rosettes, which provide excellent camouflage in the savanna, forest, and jungle environments. Leopards are solitary by nature, with both males and females living in their own territories, which they mark using scent glands and scratch marks on trees or rocks. Male territories usually overlap with those of several females, but leopards avoid direct interaction with one another, except during mating or occasionally when competing for food. They are opportunistic hunters, preying on a variety of animals from rodents and birds to medium-sized antelopes, which they often hunt alone. Their solitary nature is also reflected in their feeding habits. Unlike lions that hunt in groups, leopards use their stealth to ambush their prey, relying on surprise rather than strength. Their ability to drag prey up into the trees to avoid scavengers like hyenas and lions further demonstrates their solitary lifestyle. Leopards are also highly adaptable, living in various habitats from grasslands to rainforests, where they primarily remain solitary, avoiding contact with others of their kind. They are primarily nocturnal, hunting at night and spending the day resting in trees or dens, making them elusive creatures of the night. Sea otters are marine mammals that primarily live solitary lives, though they are occasionally seen in loose groups called rafts when they come together to rest. These otters are highly social when it comes to resting or foraging, but they remain solitary when it comes to hunting. Found along the coasts of the Pacific Ocean, sea otters are expert hunters, using tools like rocks to crack open shellfish and other marine prey. They spend the majority of their lives alone, swimming and diving to find food. Unlike many other marine mammals, sea otters do not rely on migrating in pods, and instead, they establish individual territories in which they hunt. When they come together in rafts, it is typically for short periods of time, such as while resting between hunting sessions. Their solitary nature is also reflected in their parenting, with mothers raising their pups alone until they are old enough to fend for themselves. Despite their solitary lifestyle, sea otters play a vital role in their ecosystems, helping to control populations of sea urchins and other marine life. The polar bear, the largest land carnivore, is an exceptional solitary animal, suited to the harsh, frozen environments of the Arctic. Adapted to the freezing temperatures, polar bears are formidable hunters, primarily preying on seals, which they catch by waiting patiently at breathing holes in the ice. Their solitary nature stems from their need to cover large areas of the frozen tundra to find food, as they are solitary hunters, not social animals like some other bear species. Male polar bears tend to have larger home ranges that can span hundreds of kilometers, while females with cubs will remain in a smaller, more localized area. Despite their solitary lives, polar bears will occasionally come into contact with one another, especially when food sources are abundant, but these interactions are often brief and not cooperative. The polar bear's solitary lifestyle is a result of the seasonal and dispersed nature of its prey. Since food is not consistently available, each bear must find its own resources to survive. During the summer months, when the sea ice melts and food becomes scarcer, polar bears may be forced to travel long distances to find food or shelter, further emphasizing their solitary existence. Female polar bears spend months alone in dens during the winter while giving birth, and it is only in these isolated, maternal phases that a polar bear might exhibit any social behavior, typically with her cubs. The solitary existence of the polar bear is a survival strategy in one of the world's most challenging environments. The kestrel is a small and agile bird of prey found across Europe, Asia, and parts of Africa. Known for its remarkable ability to hover in mid-air while hunting, the kestrel relies on its sharp eyesight and quick reflexes to catch small prey such as insects, rodents, and small birds. Kestrels are solitary animals, spending the majority of their time alone. They are territorial creatures, and both males and females establish and defend individual hunting grounds. Males typically hunt for themselves, while females, during the breeding season, stay in close proximity to their nesting sites to raise their young. However, outside of mating and rearing their chicks, kestrels prefer solitude. The birds are not social hunters and generally do not work together in groups, unlike some larger raptors. Their solitary nature is ideal for their hunting technique, as kestrels rely on stealth and precision to catch prey, using their keen vision to spot small animals from a distance. They will occasionally be seen in loose gatherings during migration, but even then, they tend to keep to themselves. The solitary lifestyle of kestrels is a reflection of their ecological role as efficient solo hunters in open fields, grasslands, and wooded areas. The tiger, a symbol of power and grace, is one of the most iconic solitary animals in the wild. Native to Asia, tigers are large, apex predators known for their striking orange coats adorned with black stripes. Their solitary nature is a product of both their hunting behavior and territorial instincts. Tigers are territorial creatures, with males and females establishing their own distinct territories, which they fiercely protect from other tigers. A tiger's territory can span vast areas, sometimes as large as 100 square kilometers, depending on the availability of prey. Tigers are ambush hunters, relying on stealth and surprise to capture their prey, and their solitary hunting strategy allows them to move silently through their environment, stalking their quarry alone. Their diet consists mainly of large mammals such as deer, wild boar, and even smaller animals like rabbits or birds. Unlike social carnivores like lions, tigers do not live in prides and only come together for mating. Their relationship with other tigers is minimal outside of this time. The solitary nature of tigers is further reinforced by their need for large areas of undisturbed habitat, which allows them to avoid competition with other predators. Despite their solitary existence, tigers are also deeply sensitive to changes in their environment and can communicate over vast distances using vocalizations like roars, scent marking, and scraping trees with their claws to leave visual marks. The tiger's solitary life ensures that it remains a master of its domain, quietly ruling the jungles, grasslands, and forests of Asia. Rhinos are large, powerful creatures that generally lead solitary lives, with the exception of mothers and their young. Found in Africa and parts of Asia, rhinoceroses are predominantly solitary animals. Males and females come together only for mating, after which they part ways. Even outside of mating periods, rhinos tend to be territorial, with males marking their territory with dung and scent glands, warning other males to stay away. Female rhinos, while less territorial than males, also tend to have their own defined areas. These animals are solitary not only in their movements but also in their feeding habits. Rhinos primarily graze on grass or browse on bushes, spending long hours alone in search of food. Their solitary behavior can be attributed to the size of their territory and the fact that they are not pack animals. They are large enough to protect themselves from most predators, relying on their size and strength rather than group cooperation to survive. Despite their solitary existence, rhinos do communicate with one another through vocalizations, scent marking, and physical signs like mudwallows, where they bathe to regulate body temperature. Sloths are slow-moving, tree-dwelling mammals that epitomize the essence of solitude in the animal kingdom. Found in the rainforests of Central and South America, sloths spend the majority of their lives hanging from trees, where they feed on leaves, their main source of nutrition. These creatures have a famously slow metabolism, which means they expend minimal energy and require little food, thus allowing them to live a solitary life. Sloths are solitary not only in their feeding habits but also in their general lifestyle. They move slowly, resting up to 20 hours a day, and typically only come down from the trees to defecate. Their solitary nature is reinforced by the fact that their diet of leaves is abundant but low in nutrients, requiring them to conserve energy and avoid unnecessary movement. Sloths do not interact much with one another, except during mating season. Even then, their interactions are brief and largely limited to the male's efforts to attract females through vocalizations or scent marking. The solitude of sloths is essential for their survival, as their slow pace and low energy lifestyle make them well suited to a solitary existence in the canopy of the rainforests.